Get consumer news 24/7 at myconsumerteam.com. Now, back to Pete Thompson and the Consumer Team.
Good evening and welcome back. Consumer Team on the air here on KRLD as we kick off our 9th year on this great radio station. Every week we strive to bring you the consumer truth, good deals, bad deals, recalls, ripoffs. And in a world that is increasingly hard to trust, especially online, we strive to be a place that you can come to and know that you're going to get the straight scoop. So because of that, we limit our sponsors to one sponsor in a category. We think that Angie's List and all these big aggregators are just, and I know they're trying, but I mean, how do you keep track of all those people? I mean, it's tough. So I kind of follow the way I grew up in Charles City, Iowa. You just get to know people based on recommendations. So we're assembling a small team. They're on the website for you at myconsumerteam.com. And then we also strive just to bring you information every weekend that will be, valuable to make better consumer decisions. So anyway, that's the deal. Glad you're with us. The website again, myconsumerteam.com, and my email for any recommendations or to nominate a business to be part of the consumer team, Pete at myconsumerteam.com. That's Pete at myconsumerteam.com. We have been learning together over the last couple of months about the importance of the estate plan in our lives. And the statistic that just hits home with me is this one. Only 50% of people even have a simple will. 50% of people. And it's even worse. The stat is like 80% of people don't have a complete estate plan that'll really take care of the people that are most important to them after they're gone. So this is resulting in bad situations for families every day. And the good news is that Crane and Woolley Law Firm, based here in North Texas, is here on the consumer team, and they're here to help. Justin Crane from Crane and Woolley back with us tonight to talk about the trust and why understanding the trust and why most of us really do need a trust as part of our estate plan is very important. Justin, welcome back to the consumer team. You know, when you mention the word trust, and especially in the context of an estate plan, when you mention this word to most people, they say they don't need one. I don't need a trust. I'm not super wealthy. So comment on this if you would, and welcome back to Consumer Team.
Yeah, thank you. Well, at a very high level, many people use trusts to avoid there being a need for additional work after they've died. And what I mean is if you have a will, it does need to be proven in court, even if everybody agrees, right? So that's one big thing a trust can always do is avoid that need. But at a higher level, if a person has any kind of goals, concerns that they would want to be, addressed or accomplished after they've died, that is what a trust is. I mean, whether you want to make sure that maybe if you're leaving money to a grandchild, that it's used for college at least till they're 25 instead of a fancy car, or a person with a special need you want to be taken care of in a certain way and not lose public benefits. Those are types of goals after your death. Maybe you want a property that's been in the family to stay in the family, but you do want your kids to be able to use it. Those are things that a trust accomplishes. And then I would say, specifically, there are some categories like blended families where, every attorney has their opinions, you can imagine. But I know that our opinion at our firm is that it's almost a no-brainer that a trust is the only good way to plan in a blended family because you're involving so many different parties. And I'll just give you an example. If you used a will and you were trying to leave some assets to children from spouse A and some children from spouse B, they're going to be invited with public notice to hearings that are going to prove up the documents. They're going to, if we want to go faster in the process, they really need to sign some documents saying, basically, I received all the information about, mom or dad's will, and I agree with all of it, and I don't disagree. And, for anybody listening, I mean, does anybody really know if every person in your family, much less a blended family, is going to just absolutely agree with everything after you've passed away? So this opportunity that you're giving them to think about it for a minute and say, oh, I don't know, maybe dad wrote a different will, or I thought mom said I was going to get something extra. So
what you're saying is that when you have just a will, you're going to have that meeting that could turn into a Donnybrook, right? Whereas with a trust will change that scenario. How does it change?
So The shortest way to describe this would be, what I'm describing with a will is this public notice, this proving process, and you need everyone who survived you to basically get along, not question anything. If you use a living trust, on the other hand, if you sign that living trust today, one of the benefits would be that it's effective today. And a lot of people stay in control of their assets during their lifetime, but after you die, that trust continues to live on. And because it already says who's in charge, it already says who's going to get, the assets. We don't have to go to court. We don't have to give public notice. We don't have to ask every person if they agree. Your successor trustee can just distribute those assets the way that you wanted them to. And by avoiding sort of these public invitations where we hope everyone agrees, that traditional probate and will process, you avoid a lot of the potential for someone to just throw a wrench in things. I had a client a few years ago where he thought everything was fine and his wife died, and the kids who were his wife's, not his, they did just what I'm talking about. They hired an attorney and they said, we think mom wrote a different document. And even though they never produced any evidence, it delayed us probably at least an additional 12 months over what it would have normally taken, because we had to, the courts are going to take that allegation seriously. You can avoid all of that.
Justin Crane with the Crane and Woolley estate planning law firm, talking about the importance of a trust in our estate plans. And this is to really protect the people that mean the most of us. Reasons for a trust include blended families, so we just talked about, anybody with a special needs family member, anybody without estate property. These are just a couple of the reasons that a trust is critical to us in our estate plans. And I'd like to invite you to join me. I'm getting my estate plan done, and it's including a trust with Crane and Woolley this month. And for a limited time, you'll receive a 25% discount on proactive planning services when you call Crane and Woolley and mention the consumer team. In addition to the discount, the initial consultation is free. It's complimentary. Just mention that you're a consumer team listener. Here's the phone number, 972-560-6288. 972-560-6288. And this 25% off is going to be very much a limited time opportunity. So this is a reason to get this done like I am here in the month of August. 972-560-6288. The website, cranewooley.law. That's cranewooley.law. Coming up tonight on the consumer team, Eric Thomason from Blue Nail Roofing joins us with information on the WindGuard roof upgrade.